Yesterday we had the general manager of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Jason Light, on the show, and now we have one of the best wide receivers in the business. He's a Super Bowl champion now, and he's about to go hit the free agent market potentially. He is Chris Godwin back here on the Rich Eisen Show. How have you been, Chris?
Oh, man, I've been great. I appreciate you guys for having me.
No, absolutely. I got one of the many reasons why I wanted to have you on is because the NFL Films, I guess, snippet or bite, if you will, from the Super Bowl of you and your fiance celebrating on the turf together. I love that. That's I live for stuff like that. I live for journeys traveled together, whether it's athlete and parent or athlete and partner or future spouse in your case. I love it. You and your fiance were celebrating. What was that like for you, Chris?
Man, it was unbelievable. Like you said, like that, just like, the culmination of the journey that we've had together. Like we've been together like 10 years now. So like, she's been with me through thick and thin, and that's my ride or die. And for her to be there to share that moment with me on the field, it was just a combination of all that. It was unbelievable.
I know you were mic'd up, and I just I ate it up, and so now that you have gotten the Super Bowl, I mean, what does it feel like to be a Super Bowl champion, Chris?
I like the sound of that, man. Every time I hear it, I just get excited because like as a kid. Right, at least like for me, my two biggest goals were, to make to the NFL and to be a Super Bowl champion, and to have accomplished that, both of those by the end of my fourth year. It's such a blessing, because there's so many talented guys that that haven't had the opportunity to get to this point. And so,
yeah,
like I said, it's a blessing.
No, of course. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. I thought you were completing. So, and obviously, Michigan men like myself like completing to people like you. What was that like to be on the end of Tom Brady's passes, play calls, in the huddle with him all year long, Chris?
Oh, it was so dope, man. Like just watching him like my entire life and being, seeing him from afar and watching the greatness, and then now having the opportunity to be a part of that. Like now I'm a part of that history. It was so cool, and he was so different from I really like anything that I was anticipating. I was just kind of like thinking that he was going to be like this stiffer, like just ball all the time, and don't get me wrong, like he loves the game of ball and he puts so much into it, but like off the field, he's a great guy, and he really just came in and fit in as one of the guys, cracking jokes, just the whole nine. And, you have nothing but respect for a guy that's so accomplished but comes in and works as hard, if not harder, than everybody else.
And how does that permeate the locker room? How does that permeate the huddle? How do you pick up on what he was putting down, Chris Godwin?
Yeah, I mean, it's infectious, man. Like when you go out there, you go to battle, and your leader is putting in everything that he has, and he's going to give it his all. You feel obligated to step up and answer the bell. We're going into every game expecting to win, knowing that we had all the pieces that we needed to be successful. It just was going to take some growing throughout the process, and we went through our growing pains, and some people were doubting us, but I think the great thing is that the men in the locker room never wavered. Like I said, we had full belief in everybody that we had the piece that we needed to go out and make the run that we did.
Well, when did it all come together, Chris Godwin? The sense is, now that we're looking back on it, could have been after the first quarter of that first game against the Chiefs, Week 12, after Tyreek Hill had a quarter to remember. But the way the rest of that game went into a bye week, out of which you never lost again, is that it, or was there another aha moment for you and the team? I
don't know if there was one specific moment, but I would say like right around that time period was when I would say things started to kind of like click, right? We had at that point we had our backs up against the wall, and I think you made a good point in that first Chiefs game. They got up on us really fast, and the Bucs teams of the past, very well would have laid down and just like dang, they got us this time, and like they're just a better team, but the fight that we had in that game to come back and have a chance to really put ourselves in a position to win that game at the end versus the defending Super Bowl champions. I think that gave us a lot of confidence like that we needed as a team that had been together for the first year, really. Trying to put it all together, and then you have the bye week, and then you have Atlanta where we started off, slow again. But at that point, it's literally like we're playing for our playoff lives. We treated that game and the rest of them as playoff games. And it's like if that's the mentality you have, then it literally feels like win or go home for you. And we had to approach it that way.
Super Bowl champion, wide receiver, Pro Bowler Chris Godwin here on the Rich Eisen Show. Okay, so now it's about decisions. Let's talk decisions, Chris. First one up. You have to make one choice here. I give you a choice of going horseback riding with Devin White or tequila shots with Tom Brady. Which one do you do? Which one? You can only choose one. Which one would you do?
I'm gonna go horseback ride with my boy Devin White. I had never been on a horse. Why not? Let's go. Let's hit the trail ride, man.
Yeah, but I mean, riding an animal is not the same as just throwing back avocado shots. And clearly, there's a support system with Tampa to deal with maybe too many of those shots, as we saw, Chris.
There's a ton of support here for guys like that. I think we've done that. Let's go ahead. Let's give the trail ride a little shot.
Okay, let's do that. Now then, by the way, great use of shot right there. Okay, now let's talk about, I guess, the more important decision, the more life-changing one in front of you. Free agency. How are you approaching this right now, Chris Godwin?
Really, I really just been taking it, day by day. Because like at this point, right, like it's out of my hands at this point. It's at least in terms of until March 9th, right? Like if the team decides to franchise tag me, then that's what it is, and that's what it would be. But obviously, I'm looking, for some security, looking, for an actual deal, and I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But I love it here, man. I love the team, love the city, love my guys, love going to war, battle with them. So I guess we'll just have to see how everything plays out.
Now I had the GM on yesterday, Jason Light. He said nothing but glowing things about you. Has there been conversation between management and your representation yet, Chris?
Yeah, I believe so. And
Okay.
I think those conversations will continue to happen. It's no surprise to me that the interest is mutual on both ends. But, at the end of the day, we all realize that it's a business, and in the same way that they're going to approach it, they can make the decision that's best for them as a business, like, as an organization. I got to do the same thing. And obviously all of it's out of respect.
All right. And is it possible that have you enlisted the help of somebody who wearing the number that you used to wear to potentially lob something in to say, hey, let's see what we can do to keep 14 here? Anybody? In that respect?
No, I have not, but I would imagine that there's been conversations like that. We all, like everybody there, has so much respect for each other, and I think we all have like such a great working relationship that I don't know if there's much lobbying that needs to happen at this point.
Okay, Chris Godwin here on the Rich Eisen Show. Let me get into that actually, the jersey stuff. Do you hear what Michael Pittman had to say in Indianapolis this week about his number 11 and Carson Wentz? Did you hear about that? Story?
Yeah, I did. I heard about it a little bit.
Okay, that might have crossed your ear gate. What'd you think of that? Hearing from Michael Pittman, again, he's a second-year player, and we also know Carson Wentz has not been with the team. What'd you think about him saying, "I'd like to keep my number 11"? Chris, what about that?
I thought it was interesting. I'm not surprised. Not too many guys really want to give up their number. And I think each situation is very different. I think the situation he's in is completely different from the one that I was in. Mm-hmm. And that's not to say that either one of them is the right one. I just think that, like, for me, it made the most sense for me to give up my number. You know what I mean? And just out of respect for Tom and for what he's done, and hoping that maybe one day that I will get that same respect if needed later on down the road. And Michael Pittman, he may not think that same way, which is cool. And also, I think it is worth noting, too, that Carson might not want number 11. And so then there's not really a story at all.
No, I know that, Chris. Apparently, according to Michael, that Carson reached out to ask for it and then said, I might want to change it anyway after being told no. it's one of those situations, where you don't want to, you want something, but you don't want to make a big deal of it after the other person kind of forces you to maybe make a big deal of it, and it's one of those things that's to avoid conflict. I'm a conflict avoider normally in real life. So I kind of understand that. But did Tom ever ask for it, or did you just coughed it up, Chris?
Yeah, no, he had asked for it, and we had a really good conversation too, and I think that was it was good though, because that was like one of our first like real conversations. We were like talking on FaceTime about just a bunch of different things, and we were going over it, and like I said, it just made the most sense. And looking back on it, if someone said, hey, if you give Tom number 12 and you go with number 14, that y'all won a Super Bowl, I do that every single time, without question.
Well, Chris, I'm not questioning your decision making whatsoever. Okay, I'm just wondering how it went down. Did something other than the jersey exchange hands, Chris Godwin?
One more time. Sorry.
Did something other than the jersey number exchange hands?
Oh no. It was really just out of respect though. Because I don't know, like I said, I think for me, I think I'm big on just, doing things the right way and trying to be a good person, and I really do believe that things happen for a reason. And, like I said, hopefully down the road, if I'm looking for, in a situation like he was, then I would get that same respect. And then it's like, all right, well, everything came full circle.
Pay it forward. And now you'll be looking down at your hand at some point and seeing that big shiny object, and it's like you made the right decision, Chris Godwin.
That's it.
Bingo.
That's it.
Bingo. That is just going to be a great, great moment for you. Did Brady, Bruce Arians told me, a couple minutes left here with Chris Godwin, Bruce Arians told me that Brady spoke to the team night before. Can you pull back the lid on that a little bit? What did he say to the team night before the Super Bowl, Chris?
Yeah, it was really, really impressive to watch, that, the culmination of all of that, right? Because he's talked throughout the season, here and there, but he's never really been much of a pregame, rah-rah guy. He usually let, Devin and Levante take care of that.
Oh, yeah.
But throughout the entire week of the Super Bowl, he was texting us, the 2 weeks, the entire 2 weeks, almost every night, with different, different film clips, different motivational stuff, and just really just hitting guys, we're made for this moment, we're gonna win this game, and just constantly feeding that confidence to us that that the moment's not too big for the guys that we have, and I think that really just not only spoke to just how intense the moment was and how confident he was, but that it spoke to just how confident we should be as a team. We had earned the right to be there, and we shouldn't just go in there we're happy to be here. We should go in there with the approach that we're going to win this game.
So you're saying every night for 2 weeks before the Super Bowl, what pops up in I'm assuming, known sender on your phone was a group text from Tom Brady, essentially to a whole bunch of you, the whole team, with what, movie clips, phrases? What was it? What was
just
it?
Really mainly the skill position guys, right?
Okay.
Running backs, tight ends, receivers, quarterbacks, and just different different motivational stuff, whether it's from himself directly, or I said, film clips, just little reminders of, hey, when they do X, Y, Z, we do this. You know what I'm saying? And just reminders that that he's constantly working, and that we should be confident in ourselves as a group to go in and regardless of who we're going against, what we're facing, as big as the task was, that we're going to be good.
Well, Chris, what about you? As I finish up, what about you? Because at some point, we're assuming Brady's not going to play till he's 105, or you will be on, for whatever reason, maybe on another team. It could be multiple millions of dollars worth of reasons, but so at some point, you will have that challenge in front of you. Do it without Brady. Long story short, what about you? Your goals for you, Chris Godwin, in your career here?
That's a great question. I mean, for me, I think the goal is always to do, what we've just done. I think the more that I'm entrenched in this game, and the more fortunate that I am to continue to play, the more I realize just how important it is for me, like, to win. I've been, like last year we had a decent year, but it wasn't good by our standards. Like we're 7-9, and I had I had an all-pro season, but it didn't give me anywhere near the satisfaction that winning this Super Bowl did. Even though my numbers were down. So like for me, it's doing all that I can to make sure that whatever team I'm on is in the best position to win. And along the way, learning from the Tom Brady's, the Mike Evans, the Gronks, just from like picking their brains and allowing me to absorb all that information so that I can then pass that out to, whatever teammates I have moving forward. Because like at the end of the day, we're all just kind of like recycling information and passing it all like to future generations to keep furthering the game. And I want to be a part of that, and I want to continue to be a champion.
Well, I hope you get what you want, Chris. I imagine it's to stay put where you are, where you like to be, where Tom Brady's your quarterback, and you'll have an opportunity to maybe, box Cameron Brate out for the next trophy toss from boat to boat,
Exactly.
Again, you can't, the tight end, Brate. My God, great grab. That was impressive. So hopefully you get hopefully you get to do that yourself, and did you, hold on a second, did you drop your phone? TJ Jefferson, my social media grandmaster, just passed me a note. Did you drop your phone in the water? Did the boat?
My phone
is
at the bottom of the Tampa River. I pulled up my phone to go live, which I never do, and will not do anymore. And like we're standing on the front of the boat, and I see like at the corner of my eye, like I think I see Scotty start to kind of stumble. And in my head, I'm like, man, like I can't let Scotty go into the water. We can't get another Scotty. We can't just lose him out here. and in the process, my phone got knocked out of my hand and went right into the water. And it was in slow motion. Like I was like, no, and like looking at like this, like a police boat next to us, and they're like watching. They're like, no. I'm like, but like, can one of y'all get that? Like, what's up? Like, and it went down really fast. It was so fast, but my folks at Verizon were looking out for me, so okay. I was very appreciative of that.
Well, good shout out, but that doesn't bode well for the next trophy toss, Chris.
No, it does.
What
I will say though is the trophy is much bigger than my phone.
Okay. Okay, but equally as valuable in your mind, I'm sure.
More valuable. It's a lot easier to get a new phone than it is a new Lombardi.
So ask him the poll question before going out the door.
Oh,
this is perfect for Chris Godwin.
Perfect.
Chris Broadway. Ask him.
All right, Chris Godwin. 2 gigantic birthdays today. It would have been Steve Jobs' 66th birthday. Phil Knight, founder of Nike, is 83. Who's had the bigger societal influence?
Oh, man, that is a great question. I would have to say Steve Jobs. I would have to. I think it'd be a lot easier to find someone with an Apple product than someone with a pair of Nikes.
Yeah, if an Air Jordan gets thrown overboard, you just get another one. That phone goes, you're freaking out. You're freaking out. You'll go barefoot before you lose your phone.
I got a bunch of them in the closet. You lose your phone, you're like, oh, man, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, your whole identity's ruined until you get a new one. Yeah, you're freaking out.
If you get a new one.
Yeah. See? That's what I told you. Where does it currently stand right now?
Well, it's 80-20 right now.
Which is what?
80-20 Steve Jobs.
Oh, because I put my thumb on the scales. What you're complaining about.
I would like to point out, we're all wearing Nikes in the studio. I'm just saying.
And I am. I am also.
Exactly.
But listen. If it wasn't for Steve Jobs, who knows if we're having this conversation?
True, right?
That's true. We also all have Mac apps.
Yes. The answer is all of the above, but that's not a choice. Hey, Chris, congrats again. Thanks for the call. Let's do this again soon. Good luck.
I appreciate you guys. Y'all be safe.
Right back at you. That's Chris Godwin, everybody. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.